Alyssa Violet is mad, you guys. She just posted a video addressing all that was going on between her, TANA Mongeau, and Brooke Schofield. The drama was a while ago, but she's just now decided to post a video about it on YouTube, and it's honestly really crazy. The comments are all over the place, and we have got to get into all that has been said since she posted this video. Going back to the beginning, if you don't remember, last month, Alyssa Violet called out TANA Mongeau on TikTok and on Snapchat. TANA had posted a TikTok where she said that at least she wasn't Jason Nash, and Alyssa was coming to Jason's defense, calling out TANA for shaming Jason for how he makes money, which people have said is essentially panhandling on TikTok. People online had later noted that she had been hanging out with David Dobrik and Natalie recent to this, so they wondered if that's why she seemed so willing to defend Jason online. But overall, people just didn't love what she had to say, especially with Jason's history of making a move on TANA and also how he used to shame Trisha Paytas. Plus, in the video Alyssa made defending Jason, she mentioned TANA doing OnlyFans, and though she claimed she didn't mean anything in a mean way, people certainly felt it came across as such. People also wondered if the other reason she was coming to call TANA out had to do with the fact that TANA and Brooke had TANA's assistant Paige on their podcast just before all of this went down, where Paige had talked about this bad experience she had with Tessa Brooks. And given that Alyssa was friends with Tessa, people wondered if she was mad that they had said this on the podcast.
Me and Trevi go to this event. We're slaying. It's me, Trevi, and Zoe Fish. So it's the three of us, and we're just in this venue walking around. We like get a drink or something. And this girl and her friend like walk up, and she doesn't say hi to me, but she goes up to Trevi, says hi to Trevi, goes up to Zoe, says hi. And we do this weird like little interaction where it's awkward because it's like, I don't know if we know each other, and it kind of feels like the same, I'm getting the same vibe from her. I usually just go, oh, nice to see you, just to be safe.
Yeah.
For the first time in forever, I finally go, oh, what's your name? I was like, I'm Paige. And she goes, yeah, I know, I've met you so many times. And I go, oh. And I said, oh my gosh, like, I'm so sorry. I was like, I feel like a bitch. I was like, what's your name? And she goes, I'm Tessa. And then I go, oh my God. I go, I'm so sorry. And she goes, yeah. And turns away. I swear, she kind of ate me up.
The competition shook.
Brooke chimed in on TikTok to defend TANA after Alyssa called her out on TikTok and pointed out that Alyssa wasn't above shaming people, as she had called out Paige Lorenze before on her Depop, bringing up the fact that Alyssa was selling clothes on there before, and in the description of one of the items that she was selling, she wrote where she was when she wore the dress and wrote that Paige Lorenze had followed her around a party all night and that her friends thought she was being sketchy, and also wrote that Paige told her that she hooked up with Alyssa's ex and wanted to be friends with her. Now, when Brooke had originally posted a TikTok talking about the fact that Alyssa had a Depop and she was exposing Paige Lorenze in the description of one of the things that she was selling, she had said that Alyssa called Paige something that she did not, and they ended up having a back and forth in private about the whole thing, and Brooke corrected herself in another TikTok. After all of this, TANA and Brooke sat down for a podcast episode together where they talked about everything. Brooke ended up sharing some messages between her and Alyssa and ended up calling her the meanest girl in LA and much more.
Alyssa Violet, I have met you at least 150 times. I've spent hours with you. We have so many mutual friends. I have gone to birthday dinners with you. I have been around you in so many ways. You want to know why you don't remember me? Because for a long time, I didn't have any followers or clout, okay? And you know, when you started noticing me and maybe saying hi here and there, as soon as this podcast started blowing up, and I will never forget that.
Her entire demeanor has always been talking down to people. Amari was telling me how like the 35th time he'd hung out with her and me like all night. For a while, she tried to treat him like he was a waiter.
Literally.
A waiter.
Piss off, Alyssa. You're the meanest girl in town. And I mean that.
Trisha had even covered the topic at the time as well. She had Brooke on her podcast when all of this was going down, and she talked about the Depop dress situation. And the crazy thing is, Brooke actually says that she had a conversation with Paige Lorenze and says the entire thing that Alyssa wrote about was never true.
When I made the video, Paige sent me a voice memo that she had sent to Alyssa, and she was like, she said she's never even met Alyssa. She's like, I've never met her. I've never watched one of her YouTube videos in my entire life. Like, and I don't know if that's true or not, but like, it just couldn't be me. You're like, you know what? Yeah. I don't even got Depop.
So a month later, Alyssa was addressing the whole situation in a video on YouTube that she posted this week titled My Response. Now, Alyssa said at the beginning of the video that this was going to be the only video she was going to make on the topic, and she was only doing this for her truth. She also admitted that she got into this situation completely by her own doing, and she was taking responsibility for that. But she brought up how Tana and Brooke have a podcast where they just talk bad about people and said that the whole story that Paige told on the podcast about Tessa Brooks was entirely made up.
Tana's assistant had a very nasty story about this other creator who happens to be a very good friend of mine. This story sounded so absolutely bogus to me, so I actually confirmed later on from a couple other creators, one of them being Tana's podcast co-host Brooke, on the phone, pretty much confirming that this never happened and the whole story was fabricated in order to get views and a story for the podcast. So this creator, my good friend, was getting so much hate due to this fake encounter that she had to turn off her commenting, stop posting altogether. Over the next few days, I continue scrolling on TikTok and I continue seeing Tana and her co-host continue to allude to this fake encounter and keep using my good friend's name because her name was getting the most tags and views.
She brings up that seeing this and then Tana come for Jason had her wanting to speak out on things.
Then I continue to see Tana post targeted and incessant hate videos to other creators on the platform. One of them was an older man that happens to go live a lot, so she would constantly belittle and harass this man to send her a large fan base to go and make fun of him and bully him pretty much. As a fellow creator, I decided to respond to her TikTok with my own, saying, hey, let's not bully someone for trying to make money, you know? Not everyone can take a nude photograph on OnlyFans and make $1 million like you, Tana. And that was misconstrued as being shady and contradicting. I meant no shade with that.
She says that she didn't know anything really about Jason and his past and ended up apologizing for not knowing any of those things prior to all of this.
After I posted that video, I woke up and I realized that I messed up tremendously. I wasn't aware that this creator had a past with Tana. I'm aware that he had a very public relationship with another popular creator, but that's all I knew. Although I'm also friends with this creator off camera, it wasn't until after I posted my video that I became more familiar with this creator's past, and for that, I genuinely do apologize. For not doing my research, I jumped the gun and I spoke on something that I shouldn't have, and for that, I am sorry. Although my video is misinterpreted, my original intentions do stay, and I'm sticking with that. I don't believe in shaming or bullying other people, and I don't believe in misinformation.
On the podcast Tana had done with Brooke, she also revealed that Alyssa had come to her asking about OnlyFans, which made Alyssa look like a hypocrite because she was saying that Tana does OnlyFans and people felt like she was shaming Tana, even though she says she wasn't shaming her, but people felt that way. And so when Tana revealed that Alyssa had come to her wanting to do OnlyFans and was asking questions about it, everyone was like, how are you going to judge Tana when you wanted to do it too? But Alyssa was saying that is the farthest thing from the truth.
She goes to talk about how I sell my butthole on OnlyFans. First of all, I never have. Second of all, I'm gonna now out of spite.
But this, how isn't that how a lot of people are making an honest living and how they're supporting their children? F you. Stupid idiot.
Do you know how many times I've been out with Alyssa Violet and she's asked me if she should start an OnlyFans if I can help her because she has no money? And then you're gonna come online and shame me?
That's what I heard.
Alyssa ended up sharing text messages between her and Tana where Tana came to her asking if Alyssa would do OnlyFans. And she included their text messages over it where Tana texted Alyssa saying, tell me your thoughts on OnlyFans. There's no amount of money in the world. Ha ha ha, respect it, had to ask. She said, ha ha, why? She was like, I was gonna pitch making you a effing bag, LMAO. She said, how? To make an OnlyFans? And maybe Tana will come back and say that she approached Alyssa about doing OnlyFans and then later saw her out and Alyssa was asking her more about it or something like that. But definitely in these text messages, it is very clear that Tana is coming to Alyssa with a pitch for OnlyFans. Now, Alyssa also clocked on the podcast how Brooke said Alyssa texted her saying that Tana gave her a career, to which Alyssa showed that's not exactly what she said, as in the text messages it reads, I understand you have to publicly defend your co-host who you said gave you a career. So it seemed she was just saying something that Brooke had already previously said, as she put it in quotes. Alyssa had also said that she thought that when she talked to Brooke, things were actually all good between them, but then she saw their podcast episode and was just shocked by what they said, and went on to address Tana directly in this video.
Tana, I didn't realize that you had such a problem with me. We've always been cordial. I've never said anything bad about you to this day. I could have said something when you hooked up with my ex, when you tried to continue to hook up with my ex after we broke up, when you married my other ex on camera after I came out about my abuse with him. So I've stayed fine with you throughout all that, so I'm confused where all this is coming from. To be clear, I don't have a problem with you when I could have for a very long time.
Alyssa then admits that she has been a bitch over the years, but that she had been so hurt by other people and experienced such fakeness in LA that it's just how she became, and she's been actively working on that and actually apologized for being this way.
And to anybody who I was rude to in person who didn't deserve it, and I know there must have been a few, I genuinely am very sorry. I know that wasn't right, and I'm 100% taking responsibility for that. Hurt people, and God knows that I was fucking hurt. It's been years since I decided to turn a new leaf and start the process of the inner working and healing. It was actually right after my 25th birthday that my two best friends sat me down and was like, hey, you're kind of like a bitch, so let's calm down. So
in regards to what she said on Depop, she felt it was justified what she said given the interaction was weird with her and Paige, and she also wanted to go on and address Amari and Brooke for the fact that she didn't remember them at times.
I do want to address Amari and personally apologize. If that's your story with me, I'm not going to try and take that away from you, and I'm not going to try to discredit that. That's your story with me, and that's fine. I am sorry for being rude to you in passing. I think I just automatically saw you as Tana's best friend, so you were guilty by association because I associate Tana with drama and deceitfulness and lies. Brooke, I am sorry that I don't remember meeting you all those times, but to be fair, you do look different every single time I see you. And that's no shade. I literally dyed my hair orange and burned off my eyebrows for a couple months.
In the end, it seems Alyssa was just calling Tana and Brooke out for having their podcast and spreading around false information about other people and saying that is just extremely dangerous. But it didn't seem like Tana cared too much about what Alyssa had to say, as she posted a TikTok using a sound with what Brooke said on their podcast to Alyssa, and it was just direct shade.
Actually, Alyssa, you want to come on the podcast? You asked me yesterday, you f***ing weird.
So she doesn't seem to care what was said, but the comments have a lot to say, as people wrote under Alyssa's video saying, I love canceled, but I'm not surprised Brooke and Tana have changed small details of the story to make Alyssa seem worse. Brooke especially, she's notorious for lying. She literally always talks about how she loves lying. The way she made it seem like Alyssa said, gave you your career, when that's not what happened, is so icky, but also not surprising. I think everyone is in the wrong in this situation, to be honest. Okay, but can we talk about how it's kind of insane that Tana said the complete opposite about the OF situation? Like what? She just straight up lied like that? Bro, the fact that she acted like you were asking her about OF when she literally said we're begging is the most Tana thing ever. She is the worst. She lies so much. I can't believe anything that comes out of her mouth, anything. I honestly respect you for owning up to not being the nicest. LA influencer culture seems toxic and negative as hell. The whole thing is just such a mess. I mean, those text messages are not making Brooke and Tana look the best, and I'm sure something will be said on their podcast, at least by Tana, probably soon. But until then, that's what's been said by Alyssa in regards to all of this. Let me know what you guys think about all of it in the comments. I love you guys so much, and I will talk to you in the next video. Bye, guys.